back. We're back with another installation. In, installment, I meant to say. Another installment of our series of the Rambam's Nevuchim, Maimonides Guide to the Perplexed. In our previous, you know, uh, segment, which was the first of the series, we gave a general introduction and we went through the opening letter. Now we are in the Pticha, the opening of the book. Anyone wants to follow inside, I'm using the Kapach version. This is the version I grew up on. So this is the text I'm using. It was originally written in Judeo-Arabic. I'm working with the Kapach translation. All right. So over here, it's this first opening of the book. Say is about what this book is about. And once he's going to explain what the book is about, he's going to also discuss how the Torah was written. In sometimes the Torah speaking metaphorically, allegorically. Okay, well, let's let the Rambam speak for himself. The initial intent of this book, which is the whole first third. So the initial goal of this book, like I said, the first third of the book, is to explain the terms that are used in the books of the prophets, be it the Chumash, be it the Nevi'im and Ksuvim. Also shows Meshutafim. A lot of these terms have joint meanings. And the fools have unfortunately understood these terms like one of their joint meanings, and the meaning that they thought that they ascribed to the terms was actually not the meaning that the prophets meant. They actually meant the other meaning. Or so now maybe the fools just made a bad judgment call in how they interpret the Torah. Maybe they're just not aware that some terms have more than one meaning, right? So we're going to explain these terms that have more than one meaning that unfortunately many fools have understood, like the meaning which the prophets did not mean. Now there's also terms in the works of the prophets that are borrowed terms. It's not even that it's even further removed. It's not even that the word has two different meanings, like saw to saw or saw, he saw, right? It's not like sometimes it's even more. It's like to borrow a phrase. Sometimes the Nevi'im, with divine permission, by in Rosh Reinu's case, by divine command, use borrowed terms. Like, for instance, for lack of a the example just comes to mind just because yesterday was a conflict with Iran. The Iran nuclear deal of the stupid failed Iran nuclear deal with Obama and the Democrats was just to kick the can down the road. So, kick the can down the road is we borrowed the expression about it was just to delay the issue. It wasn't a solution, right? Okay, so I mean, that's more a metaphor. But I just want to give an example of like borrowing a term, like you're fired, right? You're fired doesn't mean you're shot. I assume that's how the term originated. You fire someone means if you shot him, it just means you borrow the term, say you released him from his position. He's dead to his position. It's a borrowed term, right? Yeah, you get what I mean. So sometimes the prophets meant that. They were only, it's okay. So yes, so the term only has one dictionary meaning, but it's borrowed, right, for other things, but the fools didn't know that, and they took the term literally, and they understood that the term is being borrowed for something else. Now there's other terms that are like in between, right? There are certain terms that it's hard to say. Meaning sometimes you use a term, but you're not using it literally. Using it figuratively. So that's a little bit different than borrowing the term. Borrowing the term is almost to use it. Use a single word like a metaphor, right? But there's like sayings. So sometimes there are terms we're not sure whether maybe it could be taken, almost literally. It's just being used as an approximate term, but sometimes, but by the same time, we perhaps the word really does have two meanings. But either way, the term is not to be taken literally, right? It either has an alternate meaning, or perhaps the Torah just meant to use the term loosely, right? And Rambam calls those type of words that we're not sure whether it's being used loosely or it has two different meanings. Shemot mesupakim, right? And these things are, we generally, but how we should understand it is determined by the context, right? But sadly, the fools always get it wrong, right? Now, this book is not written for the fools, right? It's not, so it's not for the fools. May be beyond help, or if they could be helped, it's not with this book. This book is not meant for the masses. It's not even meant for the beginners who are first beginning to exercise the power of analytical thought. And now that this book is not even fit for someone who has the only thing he's learned from Torah are its laws, halacha. Right? It could mean, even, of course, he's saying if he learned halacha analytically, but that's the only thing he has experience with. Now, halacha, it is what it says, and even the mental moves that we make to derive, and to compare and contrast. But unless you're dealing with, the facts are the hard facts, and halacha is, what to do, and that's all physical, earthly affairs. Right, so that person may have, even if he's good at the study of halacha and comparing and contrasting precedents applications, doesn't mean he's cut out for this, which is abstract thought, thinking in the abstract about ideas that are not to be taken, that are, not physical and are not to be taken literal. But rather, the goal of this book and anything that is like this book, what category does it belong to? MS, right? It is to know Torah in truth, meaning to go into. There's a lot to how to read into a statement. And first of all, the Torah is there to correct out the way we think and give us a relationship with God. And halacha is a vital role in correcting our behavior and our personalities, because it conditions us physically. It is the right thing to do, and it conditions us, but the Torah is also to get to know God, right? And that's the aspect of Torah that's called, sod, secrets, but it's also called chachmas ha'emes, the study of truth, because that's the true intent of the Torah. Right, and also another shot is that it is the science that could teach us, that could demonstrate to us how everything the Torah said to us about divine providence is true. It's true because this is the system. Is how, when you understand the system, you can really appreciate that there is a God and there's only one power, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's called to know the Torah in truth, right? Knowing the Torah, just the halach of the Torah is only the start. You haven't gotten to the crux of it, right? The soul of it, as he's going to say later. So therefore, who is this book for? So it's not for the novice. It's not even for a guy who's totally accomplished in halacha, if that's all he knows. Right? Totally accomplished in halacha, and even in the science of how to, make halacha, understand halacha. If that's as far as he went and he never went past that, this book is not for him either. right? And this book is important, he stresses. I mean, the guy who only knows halacha should want to make himself worthy of this book, right? Because that's what Torah is really about, to know God, right? To have a relationship with God. Right. This the goal of this book is to awaken, to hint, to you know, drop hints, drop signposts to someone who is a religious, that already has it settled in his heart, right? And he fully, is fully not just knowledgeable, but it's like instilled in his perception of reality that the Torah is true. So first of all, this book is not being addressed to the heretic to try to convince him otherwise. No. I'm not. That's not what this book does. This book is for the person A who is firmly religious and not just in practice, not from habit, but really, really religious, that he really believes the Torah is the truth. He's totally at peace and totally committed to his religion, and he's also has good personality traits. If a person, he's just out of control with his passions, that messes with the mind. I'm not dealing with a guy like that. I want a guy that guy's also refined his character. All right. So this is like meant for very special persons who are going to learn. This book is for a very, very developed religious person, right? That he's totally reconciled, that the religion is true, and he has good character traits, so that's not going to get in the way of his intellect connecting to the truth. We also looked into the sciences of the philosophers. In those days, philosophy included, physics and biology. It was all called natural philosophy. So we looked into the sciences of the philosophers. Many knows them, right? So now he is drawn by, by the human mind, and he is, he has it in its proper place, meaning he's an intellectual. Like he developed his mind, developed his mind, and he followed his mind. We're talking about a man who's an intellectual. He worked with his mind, and his mind is developed because he is educated, and his mind is developed because he has no bad character traits that would interfere. One of the fun of Pishtei Torah, Mashal Tzich Lavino, Oshim Zom, the Indian Asher to B'Shoy, or Mesupakim, V'Yishar B'Vucha, V'Hisus. So now, but then he's standing in front of him, like barring his way, is the simple meaning of the Torah. There are certain things they just did not manage to understand, being of a developed mind, a real intellectual that knows the score, knows the sciences. He could not understand. He had no way of reconciling the simple meaning of the Torah because it seemingly went against rational thought. Right? You take it literally. Or right? Or he would say, well, maybe it has a different meaning, or maybe it has, the word has a different meaning, or alternatively, the word is borrowed and it's not to be taken literally, or it's one of those things you have to, decide based on context, right? But he doesn't know those alternate. The point, so he'll reconcile to himself, in a sense that it's got to mean something else. It can't be literal. He doesn't know what that other meaning is, right? So he remains confused, right? He remains confused either because he's taking it literally and he has no way how to reconcile rational thought, or say, okay, it can't be literal, but what does it yes mean? So either way, he's confused. Or alternatively, he's going to go, look, I'm going with my rational thought, and I don't know, I can't deal with what the Torah wrote, and he's going to feel like a heretic just because he couldn't reconcile the Torah with his rational thought, and so I'm sticking with my rational thought, right? And he'll feel bad as if he's a heretic, because we're talking about a guy who innately, to the core, is a religious guy and believes that the Torah is true. Right? So he'll feel as if he's abandoned the fundamental ideas of the Torah. or or alternatively, what's equally going to destroy him, say, okay, I got to take the Torah literally, and I have to shut down my rational thought. Either way. Then so he has to abandon, walk away from his intellect and separate from the intellect. That's also Shuhui Biatzmo Nezek. The Hefset Bidato. Right. Right. But he's still gonna feel that he's hurt himself with his religion. Right? Because he's it says that he had a rational mind, but he doesn't know how to reconcile it with the literal writings of the psukim, right? And certain literal things that Chazal say. So he's like, okay, I got to go with the literal, and I got to shut down the rational thought, and as if the Torah commanded him not to be rational, right? And he's going to feel, so he's going to go into, believing what the Torah says, even though that's really, really wrong, like we're going to explain. Right? And he's going to feel horrible because he felt that he has to shut down his rational side, right? He's not going to cease from being in tremendous heartache and in great confusion, right? So the Ram says, I am addressing these people who are deeply religious, educated, rational thinkers, and they're good at it. I'm going to help them get reconciled with the Torah, and there it's not just it's not as we're going to say, it's not an apologetic reconciliation. It's not a compromise. It's what the Torah really meant. It's what the Torah really meant. These guys were right being uncomfortable with taking the Torah literally. They were right because the Torah didn't mean it that way, right? And I'm going to help these people who are seeking the truth. And currently, since they can't find it, they're equipped for it and can't find it, and that's why they're perplexed. To this essay, it's the whole book in general, but it's particularly true about the first third of the book, right? Is Dear Masham student mode. I'm going to explain all these cryptic metaphors. Chanel Pacific Bloom, they are written, these cryptic metaphors are written in the books of the prophets, below his Parsha and Marshall, and the prophet didn't put in big red letters, this is only a metaphor, right? So the prophet didn't say explicitly it's a metaphor, and that's why these people get confused. They don't realize it's a metaphor, right? Now, the fool thinks it's literal. What's the matter? Take it literally. And the fool, never occurs to the fool that these are metaphors alluding to hidden ideas. Now, someone who's truly wise and yet reads these psukim, these verses literally, he's going to feel tremendous confusion. Now, when we explain the metaphor, or even if we just tell this smart intellectual, right? Even that alone, right? Just make him aware it's a metaphor, buddy. It's not to be taken literally. Even that alone, that alone could help this intellectual, give him a way forward, and he gets out of this confusion, right? So Ram says we're going to do tremendous things, and the Ram says he's going to say later, I don't want to give away secrets, right? But so sometimes I'll be able to decode the whole metaphor for those who are indeed worthy to know the secrets, and when I feel that I have permission, from heaven to reveal the secret. And for people that know the secrets remain hidden and people have to figure out themselves, at least I'll say this is only a metaphor, and that'll be enough for the intellectual to find a way forward, because he knows he has to think past the literal meaning of the words, and that's where he'll find peace. And therefore I call this book Moreh Nevuchim, the guide to the perplexed. But who's the perplexed guy? I was deeply religious, of refined intellect and character, right? Educated, not just in Torah, but educated also in philosophy and the sciences, right? And his confusion is, the reconciling himself with the Torah or Chazal, when you take their words literally, and and to explain when it's not to be taken literally, how it is to be understood. Right? Now, I'm not saying that this book is going to settle all the doubts to he who understands it. Right? It could be a person who will know this book and really understand it and still have a few doubts. But most of your doubts will be resolved. Well, at least the big ones, the real big ones that you feel like the big ones that could be issues of fundamentals of faith. At least the big ones, most of them, and at least definitely the big ones will be clarified. או אם התחלתי כבר יהיה משהו שלם שאני אסיים כל מה שיהיה בזמן, כי גם זה אי אפשר. You know what, I'm going to stop here because even though it's a small paragraph, but it's a complex paragraph that begs a great deal of understanding, explanation. So I'm going to stop here because I was advised by you guys out there to keep these installments short. All right, because not everyone could sit for a whole half an hour, let alone an hour. So I'm going to try to keep it to roughly 20 some odd minutes each time. Yeah, that's the way to do it. All right, everyone, have a great day. All right, see you next time. When's next time? Right? Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe, and then you'll be notified whenever there's a new installment to the series. Everyone have a great day.